Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to talk about three-dimensional shapes. These are different types of shapes that you're going to hear about in your math class. Before we talk about the features of three-dimensional shapes and some examples, we need to first think back to what two-dimensional shapes are. Two-dimensional shapes are basically flat shapes that can be drawn. So if you take your pencil and a piece of paper and you draw a square or a triangle, you're drawing two-dimensional shapes. You really can't pick them up and carry them around and hold them. They're just basically flat. Now, when you get into three-dimensional shapes, they have depth and you can pick them up. So if you see a block laying around your classroom or your home, that would be the shape of a cube as a three-dimensional shape. And you can pick that up because it has depth and you can actually hold it. Some features of three-dimensional shapes are that they have faces. The singular word would be face, and it's a flat side of a three-dimensional shape. And there is an arrow pointing to the cube here showing one of the faces, and that's a flat side, which is a square. They also have things that are called a vertex, which is a point where two or more lines or edges meet. Now, most have more than one vertex, and it becomes plural, and it's called vertices. And on this cube, they have red dots showing all of the vertices, and I have an arrow pointing to one of them where the two edges are meeting the two sides. Now here's an edge. It's where the line segments of the faces are meeting. And there's always usually more than one, so then you'd have to say edges. So for this cube, they have made them dark bold, and the ones that you would not see because it's three-dimensional, they have made dashed. And I have put an arrow in pointing to one of the edges where two line segments are connecting together. Here are some examples. This is a cube. It has 6 equal-sized faces. It also has 12 edges and 8 vertices. It looks like a block. So if you have blocks at home or in the classroom and you pick one up, you are usually picking up a cube. Now they have to have 6 equal-sized faces. If you pick up a block that looks like this, that would be a rectangular prism that usually has 4 equal-sized faces, and the ones on the ends are 2 other equal-sized faces. They are not the same size as the other ones. It still has 12 edges and 8 vertices like a cube, but it's kind of like longer. You take a cube and you stretch it out. That would be a rectangular prism. Another three-dimensional shape is a pyramid, just like the pyramids of Egypt. The base is actually a square, and then the side faces that are leaning in are triangles. And I think you can see that there. I tried to put an arrow in. It looks like it got chopped off. But if you extend the arrow, it would be pointing to one of those triangles. Here is a cylinder. And a cylinder is round, but the top and the bottom, the base, are circle faces. If you go into your kitchen and you find a can of soup, maybe your favorite soup is chicken noodle, it usually comes in a can, and that would be a cylinder. So that's a shape that you can find at home. Here is a sphere. A sphere has no sides, no vertices, or no edges. It's round like a ball. Basically, it is a ball. So you don't have any corners. You don't have any line segments hitting each other. You don't have any flat surfaces. So it's just round like a ball, and that would be a sphere. And I always think of the world, the globe, or a ball being that. I hope that going over the features of three-dimensional shapes and giving you some examples of them helps you during your math lessons on this subject.